Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TGI Customer Panel webinar. I'm Todd Moore, Director of Lead Partnerships at TGI Connect, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. We're very excited to have everybody here. We got a great turnout, and I think we're going to have a very great educational session for you. At TGI Connect, I work closely with partners and customers that are seeking trailer tracking solutions. So I'm pretty thrilled personally today to be able to share some firsthand details on how our technology is being utilized in helping our customer trucking companies to kind of maximize and enhance their trailer utilization and visibility and assisting with operational success. So today's webinar is kind of a unique opportunity to kind of hear directly from two professional industry experts who actually happen to be utilizing the TGI solutions as well. Our two guests today will share their experiences, including the challenges and the success that they've experienced. And they'll also kind of provide an inside look at how our technology is supporting their day-to-day operations. Our goal of the webinar today is to kind of provide all our attendees with a valuable practical insights from actual users that are using the TGI solution, and also allow you the opportunity as attendees to kind of ask questions to our guests that are actually using the solution. So I encourage you as we go along, if you would like to submit questions using the chat icon at the top of the screen, feel free to kind of type in your question. My colleague Alex will be monitoring any questions. And at the end of our Q&A session with our two guests, we've set aside time to kind of answer any of those questions. So once again, I encourage you to kind of answer or submit any questions that you might have. Just before I start, just one quick admin note I need to cover off. Today's session is being recorded. We will be using this for future case studies and marketing materials in the future. And we'll also, at the end of the session, be sending this link for this webinar to all the attendees to use and to kind of share with your own companies. If anybody has a question that they don't feel comfortable putting it in the chat, knowing it might be recorded, feel free when the webinar is finished to kind of email us directly, and we'll provide those questions and answers for you. So let's start. I'm very excited to introduce our two guest panelists. Very fortunate to have these two individuals with us today. Our first guest is Carlos Sousa. Carlos is the Executive Vice President of the Dedicated Service Division at Maritime Ontario. Carlos has 15 plus years with Maritime Ontario and has been a key player in enhancing fleet efficiency and visibility. And under his leadership, Maritime Ontario reduced their rental trailer pool by over 100 units. And he helped grow the business by 10% the first year while using TGI Connect. So Carlos will share some solutions on how our solution helped optimize their fleet. Our second guest is Rick Miller, who is the operations consultant with Doug Coleman Trucking. Rick has over 30 years in the industry and has led operations at Doug Coleman Trucking for the past 5 years. And after implementing the TGI solution, Rick saw trailer utilization increase by 18%. So Rick's also going to share some visibility, insights on visibility and how he helped manage and optimize his fleet of trailers as well at Doug Coleman Trucking. So gentlemen, thank you for your time. I know you're two very busy individuals, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Just before I dive into our discussion with Carlos and Rick, I know some of our attendees here are familiar with TGI and what we do. There's some that are joining us today that aren't as familiar. So what I would like to do is literally take a quick minute, give you a 30,000-foot overview of what TGI, what we do. And I think this will help provide some context. So when our guests provide some insights on how they're using our solution. So TGI has been around for just a little over 15 years. We're a leading trailer tracking solution provider in Canada, and our solution operates on the Global Star satellite network. We're 100% focused on the trailer. We have two kind of key features. We have our device, which is our Smart One solar device. This device is satellite-based, true 100% satellite, meaning that it gets its signal from satellite, and all our data that's transmitted back from the device, it all goes across satellite. So we have global coverage anywhere around the world, constant visibility with our assets. Our device installs within minutes and is maintenance free. No wires, no batteries to change, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Our other key feature is our VisiCube multi-sensor for the trailer. This is a sensor that can track door openings, cargo volume, and temperature. It pairs with our Smart One solar to send data information across the satellite network. And the last thing we have is a very robust platform, My Connect Manager, or MCM, and it allows for customized reports that can assist companies and operators with business insights that can help drive ROI. So that's kind of the foundation. And with that foundation, let's turn it over to our guests, Carlos and Rick, and let's have a deep dive kind of discussion into their experience and what their thoughts and experiences have been with the TGI solution. So I'll start with you, Carlos. Wondering if you can provide just a quick overview of your Maritime Ontario operations. Maybe describe your fleet size, your trailer makeup, and how long you've been using the TGI Connect.
Sure, thank you. So Maritime Ontario is a privately owned Canadian carrier operating coast to coast. We're known primarily in the LTL market, but we do have a significant division that offers dedicated transportation services, which that's what I oversee. And that division is the largest component of the over-the-road units. We actually have over 2,400 units right now with TGI, and that's consists of intermodal containers, chassis, and trailers of all configuration, whether refrigerated, heated trailers, dry boxes. Our fleet is set up to provide with TGI. It's based on a start-stop and every 10-minute updates. TGI is also integrated with our transportation management system. That's really an overview of what we use, how we are, who we are, how big we are, and how we use TGI on a high level.
Okay, and I know from experience you've been with TGI for quite some time.
Just a little over 10 years, and I've also not to try and overdo Rick, but I've been in this industry for over 40 years. I think I'm older, and it probably shows. So tremendous amount of experience in all aspects of the industry, but probably the last 20 some odd years has been in the dedicated fleet services.
Excellent. Thanks, Carlos. And Rick, same question for you. Just kind of a quick overview of the Doug Coleman trucking operations and the type of trailer makeup, and how long have you been with TGI?
Yeah, so we have 50 over-the-road trucks, and we have about 75 trailers. We do a lot of LTL, final mile stuff, but we also have other companies that we operate, here in London, snow plowing, that kind of stuff. So when I tell you how many units we have, TGI units, they actually outnumber the amount of trailers we have, because we actually put this on everything. We have them on pickup trucks, we have them on front end loaders, we have them on sanders, anything, our service vehicle. So anything that we want to know where it is, we put a TGI unit on top of it. So as far as the relationship with Doug Coleman, I think we've been with you guys for 5 years, I think, somewhere around there. It's coming up to that time frame. I guess my story is that I've known TGI for 16 years. Even before you were TGI, I knew you guys, and I always said that we didn't need it because we were a closed loop. We're home every night, so it was kind of I couldn't see the value until we had to go pick up our trailer in Edmonton because someone else took it, and then I was starting to see value pretty quickly. Yeah.
Excellent. And you make a great point, Rick. I know our Smart One Solar, we're kind of just focused on trailers, commercial trucking, but the device can be used for any type of asset. You've mentioned pickup trucks. It could be used for heavy equipment. So excellent point, and I'm glad to see it's being used for other assets as well. Our next question, gentlemen, is, and it's funny because from our experience, when we speak to customers, a lot of time, there's always a kind of a driven reason why they're looking for a trailer tracking solution. Either something's happened or they're trying to fix a problem. So kind of leads me to my second question is, what challenges or kind of operational pain points led you to look for a trailer tracking solution just originally? So I'm sure a lot of times when customers look, they look at multiple different vendors, but what led you? What was the challenge or the pain point that you were looking to fix by implementing trailer tracking? And I'll start with Rick.
Well, you guys kind of heard my real reason why I went out there. So I'll tell you about my surprise that I didn't realize is the utilization of the equipment. So what I thought was, fairly well utilized equipment, turns out that we had room for improvement. Some of our customers sat on trailers longer than they said that they were going to. So holding their foot to the fire a little bit on the expectation, plus being able to, anyone on this call that has been in operations has had some operation guy walk into the room and say, "I'm out of trailers." And, with this, you could show them where they are. And I tell these guys, play with the toys that you have before you come and ask me for more. So they now use it to find where their trailer pool is out of sync.
Excellent. And Carlos, same question. Was there what challenges or kind of operational pain points were you looking to fix or led you to kind of implementing trailer tracking?
Yeah, it's funny how we have the same challenges. And I think it doesn't matter where you go in operations. You've got dispatch on a regular basis. Unless you have a way to track things and validate, they're always asking for more. But ours was it was a case of where our rental trailer fleet kept increasing without the additional revenue to support it. And that was probably the thing that stood out. And that we were running out of equipment. We thought we were running out of equipment almost on a regular basis or daily basis. At least that's what I was told, because every day I'd have dispatch in my office saying, "We have no more equipment. We need to rent." And it was a common occurrence. So that really caused us to rethink and look at things. We knew that we have competent people, but I always say that unless you can really find a way to validate things, most people take the least path of resistance and find a quick way to solve things. And the quick way is really just to ask for more without doing the investigative work to find things. And like Rick, we had the same challenges. We found equipment everywhere. We found equipment in the States. We're a domestic carrier coast to coast, and we found our equipment being used in the States after we implemented. So the real reason was for that. It was we simply couldn't invest in more equipment without the revenue coming back in to support it. So we had to find ways to improve that or to fix that.
Excellent point. That's a excellent point. And kind of that kind of leads me to my my next question. My next question is, what impact has TGI had on your operations, and what improvements did you notice? And maybe I'll start with you, Carlos, and then I'll go to Rick.
Well, the improvements were almost immediate. As we were going through installation, we were already finding so the requests almost slowed down almost immediately. We found, that eventually they stopped after we had full implementation. And then, as you stated in your opening remarks, right after, and this was at the beginning where we were still learning about TGI, we were still finding our way around to navigate through it and to get reports and all that. But shortly after that, our success was that we eliminated 100 rental trailers from our fleet, and we brought on some additional business. And, we expected a return. We weren't quite sure of what that return was going to be, but that exceeded our expectations. And we knew from that point that we had made the right decision. Now, the improvements just kept going, everything from visibility to trailer dwell to offering information to our customers and being able to valid information to our customers as to where the equipment was, how long it was sitting there, when it arrived. We geofenced all of our yards, all of our customers' locations. So we have that ability to provide them with all of that information. So that was the probably the thing that we got out of the system almost immediately. And we were just in its infancy of the possibilities.
Wow. And that's a pretty incredible number, 100 rental trailers that you reduce. And you can only do the math if you're looking at what, $600 a trailer
roughly
times, each month times 12 a year. That's a big number. That's a big number in cost savings. So, yeah. Excellent. Same question for you, Rick. What impact has TGI Connect had on your operations, and what improvements did you notice?
Yeah, so I guess I mentioned quite a few of them, but one of the ones that it's kind of take care of your nickels and dimes, and the dollars will take care of themselves. We used to spend $150 every day for yard checks, just having drivers, and drivers don't like them. Yeah, you pay them, but they don't want to walk around and write down numbers of what trailers are in what yard. That ended day one. As soon as they're all put in, it's $100, $150 a day, bottom line money. Just easy picking. The system comes with a bunch of other stuff, but you can add that to your ROI fairly quickly, and then the drivers don't have to do it either.
No, and that's a great point, Rick. Not only is it when you do an automated yard check, right away where all your assets are, whether they're in a geofence yard or a terminal or on the road, but there's also the safety factor too. You don't have individual or personnel walking around the yard and the possibility of somebody getting hit or slipping or falling. So yeah, excellent point. My next question, gentlemen, is, and we always kind of know when you're the old dreaded thought if you're switching or going to a new vendor and what that implementation process looks like, and or is it going to be costly? Do I have to pull trailers off the road? Because if the trailers are being pulled off the road, you're losing money. So I wonder if you can just tell us how was the implementation process for TGI, and how did it simplify your operations? And I'll start with Rick on that.
If you're my competitor, it was really hard to do. For everybody else, it was pretty easy. It's peel and stick. We can't get it any easier. Like it's you need a ladder. That's all you really need. So it was really painless and fairly quick. If anyone is getting them, the only lesson I give you is take a picture of the number on the back before you stick it on the trailer.
That's with the QR code. So yeah. Excellent, thanks, Rick. And Carlos, maybe can you describe for us how was the implementation process at Maritime Ontario, and how did it simplify your operations?
Yeah, as Rick said, it probably one of the easiest installations we've gone through. Peel and stick. What we did was, as we were working, so our fleet maintenance department, as they were doing PMs or the annuals, they were identifying the units. So it wasn't additional time in that they were doing them as there, and we did regular maintenance on these units. So as they were doing the maintenance, they were applying a TGI unit. What we did, so it was fairly straightforward and quick. What we've done is we've gone from an installation on top of the trailer to on the front of the trailer. We had found at the beginning, we found a top, we felt that it would be more secure, people wouldn't see it, so they wouldn't, if they were attempting to steal our trailer, they would knock off. If they were familiar with satellite tracking, they would knock the unit off if it was on the front of it. So we put it on top, but we had other challenges from clearing snow, knocking them off. So we changed them all to the front. And we have found, unless they're a real educated thief who's very familiar, then they're going to take it regardless. But for the majority of people, they don't touch it. At the front, it's the best solution. It's easy access, easy to reprogram, easy to access the unit, and it works real well. And they're not getting knocked off. So implementation was pretty straightforward. The other part of the implementation, which was really, it was educating our operating team on the use of it. So the dispatch and operations, and it was fairly user-friendly, very little to no resistance on them once they started to realize how much easier it was and how it was going to help them with their job. I can tell you this for a fact. Today, if I tried to take it away, I'd have a mutiny on my hand. So they're dependent on it.
Excellent. And just for our attendees, for what Carlos and Rick were talking about, that's the device. It's a 3M tape that applies, and 4 self-tapping screws. So very easy to put on. Excellent, gentlemen. Our next question, and I'll start with Carlos and then go to Rick. How does your team use TGI Connect on a day-to-day basis?
Well, so it provides us with, so for them, it provides them with real-time visibility. It gives us a number of reports, daily reports that are pushed to us, everything from dwell, yard checks. Rick had mentioned yard checks, and that's huge for us because we have some really large customers with extremely large pools of our trailers. And we also use that to tell them what's on site, whether it's moved within their site or it's left their site, when it arrived, when it's departed. We use that and we share that with our customers. So it's really helpful with that. Detention, we also use it for mileage tracking. And the mileage tracking, if you're using a third-party carrier, an outside carrier that you don't have access to their ELDs or their in-cab gateway unit, we use it to validate a number of information, a number of factors, everything from mileage that they travel, arrival, departures, detention, possibly if they're charging you detention on a start, stop, and 10-minute updates, we can use that to validate whatever they're providing us. So we also use it to validate our performance with our customers, again, where we don't have another device to challenge say a service failure, we use TGI as a backup system to our main transportation system. And that brings value, especially when using a third-party carrier.
Oh, excellent. And Rick, same question for you. How does your Doug Coleman trucking team use the TGI solution on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so similar to Carlos, they use them for yard checks on a daily basis. We actually have a few trailers that we rent out in our non-peak season, so it's very handy for mileages and making sure that our rented trailers are, someplace that we thought they were going to be. So we do integrate it with our back office also. So every day the location comes across on some reports from our main system, which helps them quickly identify if we have them in the right spot within our TruckMate system.
Excellent. Next question, gentlemen. And it's funny because I'm sure a lot of customers will, look at different trailer tracking solutions and the pros and cons. Was there one moment where you had that aha moment where that convinced you that TGI Connect was the right choice for your organization? And I'll start with Rick.
I'm going to tell you that that we're all looking for a good bargain, and the price of these, when you start looking at the cost of installing and how quickly you can get an ROI, is definitely one of the key moments where we said, yeah, this is going to be the right choice for us. And then, once we get them into operation, we had a trailer that left without our permission, and we got notified fairly quickly of that, and we literally pinpointed on the map. We expected to get an empty trailer. We actually got there before they switched tractors and brought the whole load back to our yard. So it saved us besides the headaches, quite a bit of money on potential claims for sure.
Oh, nice. Always good to hear a nice success story. So
yeah.
And and Carlos, same question. Was there a key moment that convinced you that TGI was the right choice?
Yeah, there was actually probably several, but like Rick, I think the one that obviously the ROI and a number of different things, the visibility, the reporting, all of those things were critical in our decision. But even afterward, one of the things that really the aha moment for us was when we have a trailer go missing, and we deal a lot on the dedicated side. We deal a lot with e-commerce, so you can imagine the risk that we run in having trailers taken out of our yards. Even though they're secured yards, they still happen. The aha moment was when law enforcement agency used our system to find the trailer because they were having real struggles. They came in, we actually showed them where the trailer was, and they were able to recover the trailer, apprehend people, and just solve a crime and something that could have gone really bad for us in terms of claim, and that's really it. It brought on, I guess, value that we hadn't really considered, the security side of the business.
Excellent. Two great success stories. Always glad to hear those. And our last question, gentlemen, before we go into our attendees' questions, is the last question for the Q&A is how has your experience been working with TGI as a partner? And I'll start with Carlos on this one.
Oh, I think, well, it's been over 10 years, so it's been a positive uh, relationship, real positive. It's been great communication. Um, and I think how I see it is that we're always looking for ways to bring value um, to our organization and to our customers. And when you have a customer or when you have clients and you have suppliers that are in sync with those values, and the value is to always find ways to improve. And whether it's coming from our customers, it's coming from us, or it's coming from TGI, we've been in sync with that. So the the evolution of the offerings by TGI have come a long way. And I think it's been because of really great open communications and using the information from all sides and all parties to bring value to your product, to us, to our customer.
Excellent. Thanks, Carlos. And same question, Rick, to wrap things up on the Q&A session. How has your experience been working with TGI Connect as a partner?
Yeah, so I did see the question yesterday, and I started thinking about that. I can honestly say I don't think I have an easier partner to deal with. Like it really is seamless. Communication is great. One of my pet peeves with our TMS system is they make changes and you really have to look to find what changes were made. There's no communication from them about, here's the new version and here's the new options. But we get that with TGI, like you guys, changed your platform a little bit ago. Well, not changed, but updated it. And, I got an email from our rep saying, hey, this is now available. You can do this, and which is fantastic and quite frankly unique. So it is fairly easy.
Excellent. Well, thanks, gentlemen. That kind of wraps up our Q&A session. So I'm just going to turn it over to my colleague Alex. Alex, do we have any attendee questions?
Yeah, so we've got a couple here. I've got a question of my own, of course, but there was a question here that came in at the beginning about the satellite, which we haven't really talked about a whole lot, but they were wondering how the satellite reflected in the data. So maybe if you guys could speak a little bit. I know that from my perspective as a TGI employee, I know how you guys utilize the satellite aspect of our system, but how confident are you with the data, knowing that it's coming from satellite? And if you have an example you want to share, please go ahead and share it. Maybe we could start with Rick.
I tell my customers what side of the building the trailer's on, and I've never heard once it's not there. So I'm by no means I know too much about satellites, except whenever I tell my customers where it is, they never call me back.
Rick, do you have anything, or sorry, Carlos, do you have anything to add to that, statement?
Not a lot, other than earlier I'd mentioned that we use this to validate our performance with our customers. So our customers measure our performance, and they provide us the data, and we have the opportunity to look at it, agree with it, or challenge it. And quite often, most of the time, we use TGI to challenge it. And almost every time that we do challenge it, it ends with us getting the approval or getting the nod on it. So it's got to be accurate, or else they wouldn't be. Our performance is based on a number of things, and it's critical for both customer and us, including renegotiating, getting the opportunity to increase business, even getting CPIs. So it's all tied into those things. So it's not something that they're just running off a performance report so they have a measurement. It's critical, and it needs to be accurate, and we use that to validate the accuracy of information, and they accept it.
Amazing. We got one last question here. We're coming up a little bit over on time, so we thank everyone for sticking around. If you have, and you'll get the recording of this as well. So I have a sort of this question here that you both have been with us for so long now. What is some of the most surprising changes that you've seen, or has anything surprised you over the years that the collaboration that you've had with TGI that really kind of made you go like, oh, that's cool? Carlos, you want to start?
Sure. Well, I guess there's probably a number of them. The very first one that I remember is really going from a battery charged unit to a solar charged unit. That was really good for us, because we were finding that simple batteries weren't necessarily lasting as long as we would like them to. So a solar charged unit just really answered all of the issues relating to that. The others are really the amount of reports that are updated and made on a regular basis without us asking. And these are reports that have value to our operations, value to our running a business, and providing probably the same value back to our customers. Those are our surprises, and that we're not asking for them, but we quite often think about them, and for whatever reason we get too busy with work and that sort of slips and gets away from us. But then we find that there's a report that addresses it. So that's always a real big surprise for us. That's
fantastic. Rick, do you have any scenarios like that?
Yeah, it really comes down to the visibility. Like it's fairly amazing that at any time, anywhere, you don't have to be in the office. Anywhere you can open your phone or open your computer and find a trailer with some accuracy, right? It's fairly impressive. And like Carlos said, reports are second to none. We use a lot of them, and some of them go directly to our customers, and others internal. The connection that we have back to TruckMate also, helps us. We have and the reason we bring it back into TruckMate is just so that we can, match it up with where the dispatcher is supposed to have that trailer. So if the trailer is supposed to be in London, but they haven't updated it yet and it's still showing in Toronto, then it gives us a quick opportunity to fix that.
That's amazing.
So visibility for sure.
I appreciate you guys answering those questions. That's it from the Q&A. Again, if you have any other questions that we haven't answered, or you just have further inquiries, you can reach out to us. And then Todd, why don't you go ahead and do some closing remarks, and then we'll finish it up.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. So just before we wrap up here, just I guess a few takeaways from kind of listening to Carlos and Rick. I would say that I guess the TGI solution can improve visibility and obviously help with some data that can make better business decisions in relation to utilization and visibility of your assets, and kind of just streamline operations. So for all our attendees, I want to say thank you for taking time out of your day to join us, and hopefully this was informative. As Alex said, we'll send a link to the webinar recording afterwards. And if you have any questions regarding the TGI solution, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be glad to sit down and do a half-hour demo with you on that platform. And to our guests, a huge thank you to Carlos and Rick for taking time out of your day. I know you guys are super busy as executives with your company, and thank you for sharing your insights. And it's really, really appreciated on behalf of TGI Connect. So once again, to our guests and to our attendees, big thank you, and everybody have a great day.